Broadcast is open.
और पुनीत जी ठीक हो?
सब ठीक है सर, आप बताइए कैसे हैं?
सब आशीर्वाद सर।
सर आशीर्वाद तो आपका है।
अरे भाई साहब कैसी बात कर रहे हो?
छोटों का तो प्यार होता है भाई साहब।
आशीर्वाद तो ज्ञानियों का होता है, बड़ों का नहीं होता।
अरे ये तो आपकी नजर में है।
नहीं नहीं नहीं
सब
सर,
एक दूसरे की नजर में होता है।
जो सच्चाई है वो सच्चाई है सर।
मुख्य प्रयास इस बार रहा है हमारे साल के अंदर कि अपने जितने यंग मेंबर्स हैं बाहर के, हम उनको जो है ना स्पीकर के रूप में आगे लेके आए। उसी क्रम में हमने आज पुनीत जी को भी इनवाइट किया है।
थैंक यू सो मच सर, थैंक यू सो मच आप सभी का।
तो बड़े इंटेलिजेंट हैं, वीर सावजा जी के शिष्य हैं, तो हम तो वीर सावजा जी ही मानते हैं इनको, सही मायने में देखा जाए।
अरे सर वैसे जो है आपका मान है, लेकिन एटलीस्ट ये चीज जो है बहुत दिक्कत दे जाएगी मुझे।
नहीं नहीं सर, देखो ऐसा होता है, चीजें आप आगे धीरे धीरे बढ़ के आदमी आगे पहुंचता है, सीखता है, लोगों से सीख सीख के आगे बढ़ता है।
अशोक जी आपकी आवाज बड़ी कम आ रही है, क्या चक्कर है?
अब ठीक है मनीष जी? मनीष जी कुछ आई?
कुछ आई है कुछ।
लड़ पे ही है जी, आवाज तो आनी चाहिए।
भानु को भेजो।
कैसे नीतिका जी को बुला के चालू करें?
सर चाय पियो सर, चाय पियो।
रिकॉर्डिंग हो रही है मनीष जी।
ओ सॉरी सॉरी।
मैं लाइन पर हूँ, शुरू कर सकते हैं।
राकेश जी शुरू करें?
करें सर?
कर लो।
Respected President Sri Ashok Sharma ji, Secretary Ma'am Nitika ji, Joint Secretary Sir Manish Mittal ji, Speaker of the Day Sri Punit Rai ji, learned senior colleagues, and my dear friends. It is a matter of great privilege for me to welcome all of you in today's study circle meeting. The today's topic is of utmost importance because the new provision of the TCS has been become applicable from 1/10/2020, and now it is very, very important for us to learn those provisions. So the speaker, Sri Punit Rai ji, is between us, and definitely he is having the command over the subject. He will tell in a very simple, he is having the not only the command on the subject, but at the same time, his way of the communication is very, very simple, and at the same time, the deep also. But before I invite Sri Punit Rai ji, before that, I invite our worthy president to say a few words on this occasion. I invite Sri Ashok Sharma.
Very much. Respected Vice President of the Sailors Bar Association, Sri Rakesh Agrawal ji, Secretary Nitika Khanna ji, Joint Secretary Manish Mittal ji, Speaker of the Day Punit Rai ji, senior members of the bar, and my dear friends. First of all, I welcome you all in today's webinar to discuss the controversial issues, new provisions of TCS applicable from, as Rakesh ji said, from 1st October 2020. It was applicable from 1st April 2020, but due to COVID, it is postponed to 1st October 2020. Finance Act 2020 inserted a new provision under Section 206 capital C 1H that provides that seller of the goods shall collect tax at the rate of 0.1%. Now it is 0.75% up to 31st March 2020. If the receipts of the sale consideration is above rupees 50 lakhs. It also provides that seller would be required to collect tax only if his turnover is exceeding rupees 10 crores in previous financial year. So many doubts are there. Government of India is also Ministry of Finance issued clarification doubt arising on this on dated 30th September 2020, but still there are so many doubts. इसलिए आज पुनीत अग्रवाल जी हमारे बीच में बड़े लर्निंग एडवोकेट हैं, वो इस इशू को डेलीब्रेट करेंगे। चीजें पुनीत जी मेरे भी संदर्भ में जब मैंने इसको स्टडी किया तो उसमें बहुत सारी चीजें मेरे को भी ऐसे समझ में आई कि इसके अंदर प्रोफेशनल्स के बीच में जो डाउट है, सबसे बड़ा डाउट ऐसा लग रहा है कि मान लो प्रीवियस ईयर की टर्नओवर हमारे को देखनी है कि प्रीवियस ईयर की टर्नओवर क्या थी, प्रीवियस ईयर की टर्नओवर 10 करोड़ से ऊपर थी या नहीं। अगर जो आज हमारी टर्नओवर 10 करोड़ है, सपोज अप्रैल 2020 से लेकर सितंबर 2020 तक हमारी टर्नओवर 10 करोड़ पे क्लोज कर जाती है, तो भी क्या हमें टीसीएस के प्रोविजन एप्लीकेबल हैं? क्या क्या इसके अंदर हमारे को एग्जाम्पशन मिली हुई है? और जब मैंने इसको ध्यान से देखा तो मेरे को ऐसा लगा कि पहली बार ऐसा हुआ इनकम टैक्स की हिस्ट्री के अंदर, इन्होंने सेल कंसिडरेशन के ऊपर हमारी लायबिलिटी लगाई है। अब तक जो प्रोविजन सारे आते रहे हैं टीडीएस के और टीसीएस के भी खास तौर से, वो एक्यूट बेसिस पे या रिसीट बेसिस पे आते रहे हैं, उनको हम बिल में लगाया करते थे। यही वजह थी कि हम उसको बिल में चार्ज किया करते थे। अब इन्होंने स्थिति ऐसी की है कि इसको रिसीट बेसिस के ऊपर किया हुआ है। गवर्नमेंट की मंशा ये शायद रही होगी कि व्यापारी को अपनी जेब से ना जमा कराना पड़े, जब उसके पास पेमेंट आ जाए जब हम उसको जमा कराएं। तो ऐसी बहुत सारी स्थितियां हैं, और खास तौर से एक स्थिति इसके अंदर ऐसी है कि पैन नंबर हमारे पास नहीं है तो क्या रेट लगेगा, क्या नई रिटर्न्स क्या है, नई रिटर्न्स के प्रोविजंस क्या है, नई रिटर्न हमारे को मंथली भरनी है या हाफ क्वार्टरली भरनी है, जैसे टीसीएस क्या है, टीडीएस की हम भरा करते थे। क्योंकि अभी तक जो टीसीएस के प्रोविजन सारे रहे हैं वो सारे के सारे हम लोग बिल में चार्ज करते रहे हैं आज तक। जैसे स्क्रैप के ऊपर लगा करता था, कोल के ऊपर लगा करता था, जितने भी हमारे टीसीएस थे वो सब लोग हम बिल पे चार्ज किया करते थे। उसकी वजह यही रही थी कि हमारे को वो ड्यू बेसिस पे हमारे को टीसीएस कलेक्ट करना होता था, चाहे हमारे पेमेंट आए या ना आए, हमारे को जमा कराना था। लायबिलिटी टू डिपॉजिट इनटू गवर्नमेंट ट्रेजरी। बहुत सारे प्रोविजंस हैं, एंड आई एम श्योर एडवोकेट पुनीत राय जी will definitely elaborate on the topic in detail. With these words, I welcome you all into this webinar, and welcome Puneet Rai ji, today's speaker. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now without wasting much time, now I invite our first speaker of the day, Sri Puneet Rai ji, to deliberate on the topic. So please, Puneet ji.
Thank you, Rakesh bhai. First of all, thank you so much for the kind word which you have spoken about me. Thank you so much. And before starting my deliberation, I want to thank our worthy president, Mr. Ashok Sharma ji, for inviting me on this forum again. This is my own bar. Thank you, Rakesh bhai, our vice president ji. Thank you, Nitika ma'am. Thank you, Joint Secretary Saab, Manish Mittal ji. And thank you all my seniors. I think Sanjay Sharma ji, my elder brother, has also joined just now. Thank you so much. Now I straight away come to this topic which is in discussion nowadays, which is TCS under once a person sells any goods, which has been implemented from 1st October 2020 by the Finance Act 2020. As our President Saab rightly said कि ये provision 1st April 2020 से आना था, and because of the COVID that has been delayed to 1st October 2020. Now the section which we are going to discuss today in detail is section 206C1H. Before starting, I think I should share my screen. Can you allow me to share my screen?
Sure,
Yes,
sir.
allow now, please.
Just a second.
नीचे ग्रीन कलर का एक लोगो है पुनीत जी।
स्क्रीन शेयर हुआ?
हो गया पुनीत जी?
हो गया?
हाँ पुनीत जी हो रहा है।
हो गया सर, हो गया हो गया।
हो गया।
राइट सर, राइट राइट राइट। Now, as we were discussing, section 206 capital C1H, which has been introduced with Finance Act 2020. Let us read the section first of all, and then we will start discussing about the intricacies, about the doubts, about the issues which are there in this provision. What the section says, every person being a seller who receives any amount as consideration for sale of any goods of the value or aggregate of such value exceeding 50 lakh rupees in any previous year, other than the goods being exported out of India or goods covered in subsection 1 or subsection 1F or subsection 1G, shall at the time of receipt of such amount collect from the buyer a sum equal to 0.1% of the sale consideration exceeding 50 lakh rupees as income tax. यानी कि सेलर ने कलेक्ट करना है, कब कलेक्ट करना है? एट द टाइम ऑफ रिसिप्ट। इससे पहले जो टीसीएस के प्रोविजंस जो हमने पढ़े 206C1F की बात करते हैं, अगर 206C1G जो कि वो भी इसी 1 अक्टूबर 2020 से इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ है, उसको भी हम थोड़ा सा डिस्कस करेंगे अभी। उससे पहले 206C सबसेक्शन 1 जहां पे बात करता है कलेक्शन ऑफ टीसीएस ऑन सेल ऑफ टिम्बर, ऑन सेल ऑफ लिकर फॉर अल्कोहलिक फॉर ह्यूमन कंजम्पशन, फॉर फॉरेस्ट प्रोड्यूस की जो सेल की बात करता है, वहां पे जो बात करता है टीसीएस की कलेक्शन की, वहां हमेशा वो बात करता है एट द टाइम ऑफ रिसिप्ट और एट द टाइम ऑफ डेबिटिंग योर बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट, यानी कि विच एवर इज अर्लियर की बात करता है। एज फार एज सेक्शन 206C1H जो बात करता है, वो बात करता है आपको एट द टाइम ऑफ रिसिप्ट पे कलेक्ट करना है। दिस इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन 206C1 and this 1H. This is the first difference. Now coming to this section again, there are two provisos in this section. Let us read that also, then we'll discuss in detail. Provided that if the buyer has not provided the PAN or Aadhaar to the seller, then the provisions of subclause 2 of subsection 1 of 206CC shall be read as if for the words 5%, the words 1% has been substituted. जहां 0.1% हमें डिडक्ट करना था, वहां पे हमें वो बात करता है 1% करना है। Provided that provisions of this subsection shall not apply if the buyer is liable to deduct TDS under any other provision of this act on the goods purchased by him from the seller and has deducted such amount. जहां पर बायर की लाइबिलिटी उस ट्रांजैक्शन पर टीडीएस डिडक्ट करने की आती है, वहां पर ये वाले टीसीएस के प्रोविजंस विल नॉट अप्लाई। Coming forward, going forward to the next slide. Explanation to 206C1H has two definitions which says about the buyer and seller, who would be considered as buyer and who would be considered as seller. Buyer means a person, yani or any person, whether it is an individual or company or firm, any person who purchases any goods, but there are now exceptions, but does not include central government, state government, embassy, high commission, legation, commission, consulate and trade representation of a foreign state or local authority, or a person importing goods into India. These are the person, if these are the buyers then this section will not apply. As far as seller is concerned, the condition of seller prescribed in this section is seller means a person whose total sales, total gross receipts or turnover from the business carried on by him exceed 10 crore rupees during the financial year immediately preceding the financial year. यानी कि हमारे को आज we are in financial year 2020-21. If we want to identify whether a seller would be covered under this section or not, we have to identify the turnover of a seller of that person, the turnover of financial year 1920. We need not look into the turnover of financial year 2021. यानी हमारे को इस साल की टर्नओवर को देखना ही नहीं है, चाहे वो टर्नओवर मेरी 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा है या कम है. It would be irrelevant. The relevant point would be क्या सेलर की टर्नओवर लास्ट ईयर में 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा थी? If yes, apparently this section will hit to that seller. Now, if we go through the next line of this definition of seller, which is provided in this explanation, which says immediately preceding the financial year in which the sale of goods is carried out. यानी कि services के केस में, again, if the seller is providing services, then this section will not be applicable. This would be applicable in case of sale. Coming to the next slide. Now, this is again the condition which I was discussing for the seller, person whose total sales or gross receipts or turnover from the business carried on by him exceed rupees 10 crore during the preceding financial year. Now, there are certain exceptions to the definition of that seller. One is that who is an exclusive service provider, this section will not apply. Sales on which TDS is liable to be deducted and deduction have been made, यानी कि TDS provisions applicable हैं and buyer has deducted a TDS on that particular transaction, then this TCS provision will not apply. Next, export of goods के केस में this section will not apply, and the transaction which are covered under 206C1 जो कि अभी हमने डिस्कस किया, on sale of scrap, on sale of forest produce, on sale of timber, इन 206C1 क्लॉज में जो आते हैं उनकी सेल पे अगर टीसीएस के स्पेसिफिक प्रोविजंस ऑलरेडी एक्ट में प्रिस्क्राइब्ड हैं, देन ऑन दैट पर्टिकुलर सेल 206C1H provision will not apply. Then second, 206C1F, which is on sale of a motor vehicle of the value exceeding 10 lakh rupees. हम सभी जानते हैं 1 जून 2016 से हाई वैल्यू ट्रांजैक्शन ऑफ कार सेल पर टीसीएस प्रोविजन अप्लाई हुए थे. TCS was to be collected at the rate of 1% under section 206C1F. बट इस सेक्शन में एक क्लैरिफिकेशन आया था सर्कुलर ऑफ 2017 विच सेज कि जब मैन्युफैक्चरर कोई सेल करता है डीलर को, कार मैन्युफैक्चरर सेल्स एनीथिंग टू द कार डीलर, then 206C1F will not come into picture. This will come only when a car dealer is selling a car of the value exceeding 10 lakh rupees to the retail customer, to the customer. Then only this section would be hit. That means once 206C1F is not applicable, wherever it is not applicable, then 206C1H would be applicable, which we would be discussing in the next slide. Now, another new provision which was inserted from Finance Act 2020 was 206C1G, which is regarding two issues. One, if a remittance is made outside India under the LRS, liberalized remittance scheme, which is of RBI, and an overseas tour package, if we book a overseas tour package, इन दो ट्रांजैक्शन पे भी 206C1G इसी 1 अक्टूबर से ही इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ है, which we would be discussing in the next slide. let us briefly go into these new provision which has come. Then our detailed discussion would be on the sale of goods, जिसके लिए आज हम detailed discussion कर रहे हैं. 206C1G says remittance under liberalized remittance scheme of RBI exceeding rupees 7 lakhs. That means if a person who is remitting money outside India under this LRS की scheme जो है RBI की, which says कि कोई resident individual up to rupees 2,50,000 इंडिया के बाहर एक particular financial year में without any permission of RBI he can send it. Now if that amount would exceed rupees 7 lakhs, in that scenario the rate of TCS which the financial institution who would be sending the money outside India on the behalf of that resident individual would collect 5% TCS. And if a person is sending under the scheme of education loan under section 80E, in that scenario the collection which would be made by the financial institution would be 0.5%, right? This is this 0.5%, and in normal cases it is 5%. If the PAN or Aadhaar is not furnished, although in these circumstances it is not relevant because in any case you are dealing with the bankers, so PAN or Aadhaar has to be furnished, but still if you are not furnishing the PAN, then this 0.5% would go to 5%, collection will be done by 5%, or if in case of 5% the higher amount would be if the PAN is not furnished, then it will be the higher rate. Now as far as the sale of overseas tour package is concerned, in that case also TCS has become applicable from 1st October. In normal cases the TCS rate is 5%, and if PAN or Aadhaar is not furnished, then the TCS rate is 10%. Now again coming to the 206C1H, as we have already discussed, ki buyer means as per section 206C1H who purchases any goods but does not include, these are the exceptions, that central government, state government, embassy, all these would not be considered as buyer. In that scenario this provision will not hit if these are the buyers. Now after this section was introduced, there was some confusions in the industry. Therefore CBDT has issued circular 17 of 2020 on 29th of September 2020, and a press release was also released by CBDT on 30th of September 2020. These are the issues which they have dealt in the circular which they have issued. सबसे पहले हम सर्कुलर में उन्होंने क्या क्लैरिफाई किया है हम पहले वो डिस्कस करते हैं, फिर हम डिस्कस करेंगे जो उन्होंने प्रेस रिलीज में क्लैरिफाई किया है, and then we will discuss the issues which are not covered in the circular and not covered in the press release. Coming to the circular 17 of 2020, पहली क्लैरिफिकेशन जो सर्कुलर में दिया, clarification regarding consideration received on or after 1st October against sale of goods made before 1st October 2020. यानी जो भी हमारी सेल 1st October 2020 से पहले हुई है लेकिन उसके अगेंस्ट जो रिसीट है that was outstanding as on 30th September 2020, that receipt, if that receipt is received after 30th September, that is on or after 1st October, in that case this provision of TCS would be applicable and seller should collect the TCS from the buyer. Now as the invoices have already been issued prior to 30th September, that sale may be for the period 1st April 2020 to 30th September 2020, or that outstanding may be relating to the last financial year, that is financial year 18-19 or financial year 19-20. Whatever outstanding amount relating to sale of goods, that needs to be remembered. We need to bifurcate our outstanding as on 30th September, that what is my outstanding relating to the sale of goods and what is my outstanding relating to the sale of services. So as far as the sale of goods outstanding is concerned, whatever outstanding amount which will be receiving after, on or after 1st October, this section 206C1H would be applicable, and we need to collect the TCS. Now, as far as the rate of TCS is concerned, as we all know, as per the press release dated 13th of May 2020, which was given as a relief of COVID measure, the rate of TCS and TDS were reduced by 25%. So that reduced rate would also be applicable to this section. So even though the section provide a rate of TCS of 0.1%, but still हमारा जो rate of TCS यहाँ लगेगा as far as the receipt which are made during this year, that means 1st October 2020 से लेकर 31st March 2021 तक जो भी हम receipts collect करेंगे उस पे जो rate लगेगा वो 0.075% लगेगा instead of 0.01%. I think that is clear to everyone. Now, as far as this clarification is concerned, what the seller ought to do now, जब उसको पिछला पैसा यानी पिछली जो उसे पैसा मिलना था, जो उसके ड्यूज थे सेल ऑफ गुड्स के 30 सितंबर 2020 तक, जो उसको रिसीव होंगे आफ्टर, ऑन और आफ्टर 1st October 2020, what he needs to do? He has two options. One, either he should make all the debit notes which are outstanding on the amounts which are outstanding as on 30th September 2020, वो 1st October को सारे outstanding जो sale of goods के against हैं उनके debit notes बनाकर अपने अपने buyers को भेज दे to assure them that yes, this is the amount that we would be collecting from you at the time of receiving the money from you. And second option to the seller would be कि वो debit note at the time of receipt करे, जब जब उसके पास वो receipt आए तब करे. हाँ, as far as the threshold amount of receipt is concerned, वो next point में discuss करने जा रहे हैं कि कितने amount की receipt से ज्यादा ये section hit होगा. तो as far as first clarification made in the circular is concerned, पहली clarification, क्या हमें पिछले amount पर TCS collect करना है? Answer is yes, that has been clarified in this circular. Now coming to the next clarification regarding threshold of 50 lakhs. Since what the circular says since the threshold of 50 lakhs is with respect to the previous year, calculation of receipt of sale consideration for triggering TCS under subsection 1H shall be computed from 1st April 2020. यानी कि जो 50 lakhs की लिमिट प्रिस्क्राइब किया गया है वो हमें कहां से काउंट करना है? क्या हमें 1st October 2020 से 50 lakhs की लिमिट काउंट करनी है? बिकॉज एक हमें रिलीफ दिया गया है इस सेक्शन में सेलर को कि अप टू ₹50 लाख की जो रिसीट है, on that amount you need not collect the TCS, but TCS has to be collected once the receipt on sale of goods is more than 50 lakhs. That means हमारे को 50 लाख का जो exemption मिला, जो हमें एक threshold मिला, वो मिल तो गया. क्या हमें 1st October onwards हमें वो 50 lakhs को exclude कर remaining amount पर TCS collect करना है, या हमें first amount receive करते ही TCS collect करना है? तो this has been clarified in this circular कि आपको 50 लाख की जो लिमिट कैलकुलेट करनी है वो कैलकुलेट करनी है from the receipts which you have made from 1st April 2020. वहां से लेकर अब तक जितना भी अमाउंट आपने रिसीव किया है वो अमाउंट 1st October से पहले अगर आ चुका था वो आप एक्सक्लूड करेंगे. Then if that amount which you have received was more than 50 lakhs, then you need not collect any TCS, क्योंकि वो रिसीट जो हुआ था वो 1st October से पहले हो गया था. यानी वो सारा का सारा रिसीट्स आप एक्सक्लूड कर सकते हैं. बट if you have not received any amount prior to 1st October, then certainly yes, you can exclude 50 lakh rupees as a receipt not to collect TCS on that amount, and on the balance you need to collect. इसको हम एग्जांपल के साथ नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में डिस्कस भी करेंगे. Next clarification which this circular 17 provides is regarding transaction of securities and commodities. Share securities में जो हम डील करते हैं, and on electricity sale, this circular has clearly said कि इन ट्रांजैक्शन पर आपको TCS कलेक्ट नहीं करना है. Now coming to the next clarification is regarding sale of motor vehicle. Obviously जो अभी हमने पीछे डिस्कस किया, सेक्शन इटसेल्फ प्रोवाइड कि जहां पर आपका स्पेसिफिक प्रोविजन किसी TCS का हिट कर रहा है, वहां पर ये सेक्शन हिट नहीं करेगा. As we have discussed, अगर हमारी कोई मोटर व्हीकल की सेल सेलर ने किया फॉर मोर देन 10 लाख रुपीज, वहां पर 206C1F हिट करता है, then this section will not apply. Although I want to clarify here, अगर हमारा 206C1F which is only for the sale of motor vehicle exceeding rupees 10 lakhs, and secondly that is only once the motor vehicle is being sold by a car dealer to a actual buyer of that car, actual consumer, उस ट्रांजैक्शन पर ही 206C1F हिट करता है. अदरवाइज जहां वो 206C1F नहीं अप्लाई करता, then this provision of 206C1H which has been introduced now would apply. That means कार मैन्युफैक्चरर अगर कार डीलर को सेल कर रहा है, एंड हमारी जो मेन कंडीशंस हैं, दैट इज seller has a turnover of more than 10 crores. Obviously every car manufacturer has a turnover of more than 10 crores in last previous year. And secondly, if a car manufacturer sells goods worth more than 50 lakh rupees and receipts more than 50 lakh rupees, in those transactions 206C1H would apply. Yeah, let us, मैंने यहाँ एक एग्जाम्पल लिखा है. Let us study this also. If a car manufacturer having turnover of 20,000 crore during financial year 1920 make the sales of rupees 100 crores to Messrs ABC, that is a car dealer, during 1st April 2020 to 30th September 2020, receipts made during this period from ABC are 80 crores. Sales of rupees 70 crores are made to Messrs ABC during 1st October 2020 to 31st March 2021, and receipts during this period are 75 crores. In this case, TCS under 206C1H shall be applicable as the transaction are between car manufacturer and car dealer. 206C1F is applicable only when the retail sales are made to the customer. Hence, in the above example, TCS at the rate of 0.075 shall be collected by the car manufacturer on 75 crores which he has received after 1st October, and 50 lakhs exemption would be given. But as far as this example is concerned, this 50 lakhs exemption which he has received, in my view, should not be taken, because I have already claimed, I have already received that amount prior to 1st October, from 1st April to 30th September. So in my view, the seller, that is the car manufacturer, should collect TCS at the rate of 0.075% on the complete amount of 75 crores. As per the clarification issued in Circular 8 of 2016, dated 8th June 2016, TCS under section 206C1F is not applicable on sale of motor vehicle by manufacturer to dealer. So this was the circular which was issued in 2016. Now, coming to the another clarification which is issued by the CBDT, clarification on adjustment for sale return, discount or indirect taxes. It is requested to clarify that whether adjustment is required to be made for sales return, discount or indirect taxes, including GST, for the purpose of collection of TCS under subsection 1H. इसमें भी circular ने clarify किया. It is hereby clarified that no adjustment on account of sale return, or discount or indirect taxes, including GST, is required to be made for collection of tax under subsection 1H. So as far as this circulars which says कि आपको GST amount को include करके TCS collect करना है, number one. Number two, they have not commented upon discount as well as sales return, because this circular believes that the seller will always collect the amount at the time of receipt. So they are not considering the amount discount which the seller is getting, because ये assume करके चल रहे हैं कि seller ने अगर 100 rupees का माल सेल किया है और उसको अगर 1 rupee डिस्काउंट मिला है तो उसने 99 rupees रिसीव किया है, and once the amount is received 99, so seller must have collected 99 rupees as on 99 rupees he has collected TCS. However, the practical situation may be different, that we will be discussing once we will be taking up the questions और examples. जो हम issues discuss करेंगे, practical हम इसको कैसे seller क्या उसको problems आएंगी seller को, that we will be discussing. Now again, another clarification made in the circular is fuel supply to non-resident airlines. Here they have clarified in the circular that fuel supply to non-resident airlines will not come under this provision. So this clarification has been made. So all these were the clarifications made in the CBDT circular dated 29 September 2020. Now, another press release was released by CBDT on 30th September clarifying some more doubts. These 3 slides are the copy of the press release. We are not going into each paragraph of this press release. I have made a gist that what is mentioned in this press release. So this is the slide of the gist which is released as a press release. What this press release says: number one, the press release has clarified that TCS would be applicable at the rate of 0.1%. That means as per section it is 0.1%. However, in this circular also, this press release also, it has been clarified कि for the period till 31st March 2021, the rate of TCS would be 0.075%. Secondly, TCS would apply if the receipts, again sales made to the buyer exceeds 50 lakhs in the financial year. यानी कि इस financial year में 50 lakhs से जब exceed हो जाएंगी receipts, तभी आपको TCS collect करना है. This clarification is also made in this press release. Third, for calculation of threshold limit of 50 lakh rupees, receipts from beginning of the financial year shall be taken into account. तो ये भी clarify कर दिया है कि आपको beginning of the financial year से ही receipts consider करनी है. Then exemption up to rupees 50 lakhs of receipts would be given by the seller to each buyer every year. हर साल आपको 50 lakhs की receipts की exemption मिलेगी and to each buyer also. यानी उसको एग्जाम्पल के साथ भी इन्होंने इसको इन्होंने एग्जाम्पल के साथ भी क्लैरिफाई किया है, जिसको अभी हमने आगे डिस्कस किया है, उसको हम डिस्कस करेंगे. एंड देन TCS shall be applicable only on the amount received on or after 1st October. This has been clarified in this press release. Now, last point, it may be noted that TCS provision shall be applicable on the amount of sale consideration received on or after 1st October without making any adjustment for the amount received in respect of sales made before 1st October 2020. That means आपको पुरानी sales का पैसा भी अगर अब आएगा तो उसको आपको TCS collect करना है. So all these clarifications have been made in the press release dated 30th September 2020. Now, what we have discussed, अभी जितना भी हमने provision पढ़ा, press release को study किया, circular को study किया, let us discuss few examples and then we will come on the other issues. Suppose in first instance, a seller has a turnover of rupees 6 crores in financial year 1920. He has made sales of rupees 11 crores till 30th September 2020. He has made sales of rupees 7 crores, suppose from October till 31st March 2020. whether TCS provisions will apply or not. So as we have discussed, हमें टर्नओवर जो आइडेंटिफाई करनी है वो फाइनेंशियल ईयर 1920 की करनी है, क्योंकि ये इलस्ट्रेशन विच वी आर डिस्कसिंग इज फॉर फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2021. एज फार एज दिस सेक्शन स्पेसिफाइज कि टर्नओवर जो आपको 10 करोड़ का लिमिट चेक करना है, दैट यू नीड टू चेक इट फॉर द प्रीसीडिंग फाइनेंशियल ईयर, दैट मींस फॉर 1920. एंड इन दिस एग्जांपल the turnover of preceding financial year, that is 1920, is less than 10 crores, so TCS will not be collected even though my current turnover is more than 10 crores, right? Then coming to the next example, my turnover for last financial year is 15 crores, which is more than 10 crores. My sales made to a particular party is 25 lakh rupees for the first 6 months of this year. Sales made to that particular party after 1st October till end of this year is 65 lakh rupees. Collection till 30th September made was 20 lakh rupees. Collection after 1st October is 60 lakh rupees. That means the total collection which we have made during this financial year is 80 lakh rupees. 20 plus 60. We can see the remarks. So हमने total जो collection करा वो 80 lakhs किया, हमें 50 lakhs को exclude करना है as per the provision. So the TCS which we need to collect would be on 30 lakh rupees, and that is at the rate of 0.075%. Coming to the third example, हमारी last year की receipts हैं 12 crores, that is more than 10 crores. TCS would be applicable. Sales 65 lakhs rupees था first 6 months में, 85 lakh rupees था next 6 months में. Collection last 6 months में was 75 lakhs. Collection after 1st October is 40 lakhs. That means the total collection which we have made is 1.15 crores. However, the collection which we have made after 1st October is 40 lakhs, and we have already consumed 75 lakhs collection prior to 30th September. So another 50 lakhs exemption will not be given, and the person will need to collect TCS on all 40 lakh rupees, that is to be which he has collected on or after 1st October in this example. And coming to the last example, if the amount received in the last amount of turnover in the last financial year is 20 crore rupees, sales made till 30th September is 85 lakh rupees, sales made after 1st October is 60 lakhs, collection till 30th September is nil. All the collection which he has made is after 1st October. That means उसने जितना भी collection किया इस year में वो 1st October onwards किया, उसको 50 lakhs का exemption लेने के बाद remaining 75 lakhs पर TCS collect करना है. I hope that whatever we have discussed, I think these examples, each and every issue is covered as far as all practical examples have been covered in these issues. Now, अभी हमने डिस्कस किया कि as per if we go strictly by the provision, we should collect TCS at the time of receipt of the amount which is regarding sale of goods. Now, let us discuss how the industry is doing, applying this provision, how the industry is working on this, because it would be very difficult for any company to analyze and to verify each and every collection and to assure that on each and every collection 0.1% or 0.075 whatever it is collected from the buyer and is paid to the government. Compliance burden बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ जाएगा seller के केस में. So what different people are adopting, I am just sharing one of the letters which one of the company has circulated to their buyers. This is only a draft letter which has been circulated by one of the company. If we go through this letter, as you may be aware, the Finance Act 2020 has introduced TCS under section so and so on sale of goods. The TCS at the rate of 0.075% up to March 2021. However, if the buyer fails to furnish PAN or Aadhaar, the rate of TCS shall be 1%. at the outset, we would like to mention that TCS will be available as a credit in your 26 AS. Given that the levy and collection of TCS is at the time of receipt of sale consideration, that means the seller is acknowledging the fact कि हाँ, TCS is to be collected at the time of receipt of consideration. But still, what he is writing to the buyer, that is important. On sale of any goods or in any previous year, coupled with the fact the law is proposed to be made effective from 1st October, we shall levy and collect TCS as under. For practical reasons, we shall levy TCS at applicable rate on every invoice, irrespective of the threshold of 50 lakhs. So that means many companies in the industry is not even following the practice of threshold of 50 lakhs. They are just saying that we will be collecting on each and every invoice and we will be charging on the invoice just to make their process easy. What they are saying, we would be collecting on each and every invoice. We will not be following the threshold also. Although depend करता है कि कौन कितनी monopoly business में है, whether this is possible or not for a normal seller. All these issues will come into picture. But my question for sharing this letter was only this, that every seller has to take a balanced approach, whether he is able to comply with all the provisions of this section, what would be an easier circumstance to follow this section in a strict manner, or whether it will be convenient for a seller to collect the TCS at the time of sale itself. So that is to be seen. And in this letter, the seller is also mentioning that even the advance which he would receive on the sale of goods, on that advance also he would be collecting the TCS. Now, and similarly in this letter he has also clarified that any amount other than the sale amount, that is GST or freight, the TCS will also be collected on that amount. This is a draft letter which one of the company has circulated to its buyer. Now coming to the FAQs, the doubts which have been circulating, creating in the mind of all our professionals, कि क्या-क्या issues इसमें rise हो सकते हैं in coming days. First, what would be the rate of TCS if the buyer fails to provide his PAN और आधार? ये हमने अभी डिस्कस किया कि अगर बायर ने पैन या आधार नहीं प्रोवाइड किया है सेलर को, then the rate of TCS would be 1%. Secondly, जो हमारा reduced rate है 0.075 का, वो भी तभी अप्लाई होगा जब बायर ने पैन या आधार दिया है. If there is no PAN or Aadhaar, then the reduced rate will not apply. The TCS should be 1% only. So this is the first question of that FAQ list. Whether TCS would be applicable on payment received on or after 1st October 2020, ये भी हमने डिस्कस किया. सर्कुलर में क्लैरिफाई किया 29 सितंबर 2020 के कि पुरानी जितनी भी हमारी सेल हुई है जिसका पैसा हमें 1 अक्टूबर या उसके बाद आएगा, उसमें हमें TCS कलेक्ट करना है. नाउ इसमें हमारे जैसे अभी हमने डिस्कस किया था कि हमारे पास दो ऑप्शंस हैं. पहला ऑप्शन कि हम 1 अक्टूबर को ही अपनी सारी आउटस्टैंडिंग जो सेल ऑफ गुड्स के अगेंस्ट आउटस्टैंडिंग है, हम उस अमाउंट पर डेबिट नोट्स अपने सारे बायर्स को 1 अक्टूबर को भेज दें कि जितनी भी हमारी आउटस्टैंडिंग चल रही है. दिस इज द वन ऑप्शन. एंड सेकंड ऑप्शन कुड बी दैट वी वेट for all the receipts to come, on and every receipt we issue a separate debit note to all our buyers. So these are the two options which can be adopted by the sellers. इसमें एक चीज और मैं डिस्कस करूंगा कि as we all know कि ये जो TCS का रेट है 0.075% का, ये 31 मार्च 2021 तक है. यानी कि जो भी हमारी आउटस्टैंडिंग 31 मार्च 2021 को रहेंगी, even though that sales are made in this financial year, उसके बाद जो हमें कलेक्शन करनी होगी वो हमें हायर रेट पे यानी 0.01% के रेट से करनी होगी. यानी कि जो सेलर्स अपने इनवॉइस पर चार्ज करेंगे इस ईयर में, although they would be charging at the rate of 0.075%, in this year, and suppose some amount is outstanding as on 31st March 2021, उनको 1st अप्रैल को बैलेंस अमाउंट का डेबिट नोट रेज करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि वो अमाउंट उन्हें 31st मार्च 2021 के बाद रिसीव हो रहा है और उस रिसीट पे उनको 0.01% लगेगा. यानी कि, और अगर वो कलेक्शन मेथड ड्रॉप करते हैं, then there is no requirement of issuing another debit note on 1st April 2021. So this needs to be kept in mind. Now coming to the next question, whether TCS should be reflected on invoice. So my view for this question is that as per section 2061H, tax needs to be collected by the buyer, from the buyer, at the time of receipt. As far as the section says, there is no doubt the section specifies that you need to collect at the time of receipt. But to most of the companies, what they are adopting is to make the payment assure from the buyer, and to reduce their burden, they are charging on the invoice also. Both the methods are being adopted. So these are the three methods which I have specified, which most of the companies have started to follow. One, TCS is mentioned on the invoice. Thus the liability is created on the buyer to make the payment of TCS to the seller at the time of sale of goods. Second method, separate commercial debit note is raised to the buyer on the date of sale of goods itself. सेल के साथ साथ सेम डेट पर वो डेबिट नोट इक्वल टीसीएस अमाउंट का रेज कर रहे हैं. इसमें उनको बाउंड कर रहे हैं बायर को, that yes, you would be bound to make the payment of TCS also, as per the section we have to collect it, but simultaneously they are not disturbing their GST returns, they are not disturbing their, because as we are discussing that this provision is applicable for a seller of more than 10 crores. So most of the sellers which are more than 500 crores, that are under the e-invoicing method also. So they don't want to disturb their e-invoicing scheme prescribed by the GST, which is also applicable from 1st October. So many of the sellers are not complied with the system of including TCS in their scheme of GST. Their system is not adopting that method, so they are issuing the separate debit note. And third option is commercial debit note is raised at the end of the month to the buyer for the amount received by the seller during that particular month. एक पर्टिकुलर मंथ में हमने अगर कुछ पेमेंट्स रिसीव करी, एट द एंड ऑफ द मंथ हम उस पूरे मंथ की पेमेंट्स का एक सेपरेट डेबिट नोट बायर को दे दें, एंड वी नीड टू कलेक्ट द अमाउंट फ्रॉम दैट बायर. So these are the methods which can be adopted by the sellers. Now coming to the next question, whether GST should be included as part of the turnover for the purposes of calculating limit of 10 crores. So there may be different opinions of different experts. My opinion in this is that if a person is adopting a method of accounting, and that method of accounting which he has adopted in prior year does not include GST amount as a part of his turnover, as most of the cases, all the SSCs, in all the SSCs, GST amount goes into the account of duties and taxes, and turnover which is reflected in the profit loss account and trading account of the SSC company does not include the GST amount. Turnover is excluding the GST amount. So for calculating the purposes of 10 crores, whatever amount is reflected as a turnover in the balance sheet of the financial statement of that particular SSC, that turnover amount should be taken into consideration to decide whether the amount of turnover is less than 10 crore or more than 10 crore. This is my view as far as this question is concerned. Then whether TCS is applicable on GST component also. So CBDT has clarified in their circular dated 29 September that yes, you should collect the TCS on the GST component also. Para 4.6.1 of that circular clarifies this position. Only I have provided a note here also that only sellers of goods are covered by this provision. Services are not covered. If a person sells goods as well as render services, then tax shall be collected only on the sale of goods. whether GST is applicable on TCS component also. That now it's vice versa. पहले हमने डिस्कस किया पिछले क्वेश्चन में कि क्या हमें जीएसटी अमाउंट पर टीसीएस कलेक्ट करना है. नाउ दिस क्वेश्चन सेज क्या हमें टीसीएस कंपोनेंट पे जीएसटी चार्ज करना है, राइट? सो दिस डिबेट वाज रीजन अर्लियर आल्सो, क्योंकि हमारे जो बाकी के टीसीएस प्रोविजंस हैं that are already applicable prior to which from which DST has come into picture, ये इशू अराइज हुआ था पहले भी. और जीएसटी सीबीआईसी ने इसके ऊपर एक सर्कुलर निकाला था 2018 में, जो कि स्पेसिफाई करता था एज पर सेक्शन 15(2) ऑफ द सीजीएसटी एक्ट, which says that GST shall include the TCS amount collected under the provisions of Income Tax Act, since the value to be paid to the supplier by the buyer is inclusive of the said TCS. लेकिन उसके बाद रिप्रेजेंटेशंस गए, सीबीडीटी ने भी डिस्कशंस किया सीबीआईसी के साथ, and they have concluded that CBDT has clarified that TCS is not a tax on goods but an interim levy on the possible income arising from the sale of goods by the buyer and to be adjusted against the final income tax liability of the buyer. Thus, CBIC issued a corrigendum dated 7th March 2019 and clarified that for the purpose of determination of value of supply under GST, tax collected at source, that is TCS, under the provisions of Income Tax Act would not be includable as an interim levy not having the character of tax. Therefore, GST would not be applicable on the TCS component. Now, coming to the next question. Whether TCS under section 206C1H would be applicable in case TCS is also applicable on that particular transaction. यानी कि सपोज हम एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं, एक वर्क्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट की ट्रांजैक्शन है बिटवीन द सेलर एंड द बायर, एंड in that there is it's a transaction of suppose 5 crore rupees, and on that particular transaction buyer is liable to deduct TDS at the rate of 2% under section 194C. So if the buyer is liable to deduct TDS under section 194C and buyer has deducted TDS at the rate of 2% of the seller, then this section of 206C1H will not apply as already provided in the proviso to this section, कि जहां पर TDS डिडक्ट होगा, लेकिन उसमें दो कंडीशन दी हैं, TDS डिडक्टेबल होना चाहिए और TDS डिडक्ट होना भी चाहिए, यानी बायर शुड हैव डिडक्टेड TDS. सो इसी में अगर हम एग्जांपल की बात करें, देयर इज अ वर्क्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ट्रांजैक्शन बिटवीन द टू, हाउएवर द बायर has not deducted the TDS, उसने उसको पूरी की पूरी विद जीएसटी सारी पेमेंट कर दिया है सेलर को. In that scenario, as if we go by this section, seller should collect TCS as per this section. If although the TDS would have been applicable, but maybe for some reasons buyer has not deducted the TDS, in that scenario seller should collect the TDS. Coming to the next issue, whether receipts up to rupees 50 lakhs to be excluded every year. I think ये already clarify हो गया है जो हमने प्रेस रिलीज पढ़ा. इसमें I think जो मैंने एग्जांपल इसमें लिखा है, that is as it is written in the press release. Let us read this example and that would be, this question would be clear. It may be noted, it may also be noted that this TCS shall be applicable only on the receipt exceeding rupees 50 lakhs by a seller from a particular buyer. Therefore, on payment of rupees 1 crore made by a buyer to a particular seller, only rupees 5,000, as far as this year is concerned, 3750, that is 0.1% of 1 crore minus 50 lakhs shall be collected. Hence, in case of a person making a payment of rupees 1 crore each to 10 different sellers, a total tax collected shall only be rupees 50,000, 37,500 for this year into 10 on the total payment made for purchase of rupees 10 crore to 10 different sellers. So this example clearly says that this 50 lakhs condition would be for each and every buyer, and secondly for each and every buyer, you have to deduct, you have to exclude the 50 lakh rupees component. So this is clarified in this press release. Now, let us take a example. Assuming the seller has made sales of rupees 1 crore in a financial year to one of the buyer, and the buyer has made a payment of rupees 1 crore. However, the buyer has not paid additional 0.1% TCS to the seller, even after several reminders made by the seller. Now, what should a seller do in such circumstances? Whether it has been charged on the invoice or may not be charged, may be separately issued, maybe the buyer has issued a separate debit notes, लेकिन buyer ने जितना भी उसकी ट्रांजैक्शन था, जो सेल अमाउंट था इंक्लूडिंग जीएसटी, उसने उसे पे कर दिया, but additional amount of 0.1% buyer has not paid to the seller. Now, what can be the approach of the seller in this case? One approach, seller may think of कि I have collected only an amount of my sale and my GST component. As he has not paid me, I have issued a separate debit note. As he has not paid me the amount of TCS which I need to collect and deposit in his kitty, so I will not be depositing, so that उसको credit नहीं मिलेगा, और मैं उसका amount उसे deposit ही नहीं करूंगा और उसको credit नहीं मिलेगा. This can be the one approach of the seller. My opinion here would be the seller should not adopt this approach, because the consequences of not depositing are huge, so that he can fight a legal case or whatever pressure he can build on the buyer to give that money to the seller, but he should deposit the amount, whatever amount he has collected from the buyer, he should deposit to the government kitty, because the amount which he needs to deposit, the percentage of amount which he needs to deposit to the government is very less, and he should not adopt this kind of an approach. Now, next issue which may arise, whether TCS adjustment should be made in case of sales return. Although अगर हम circular 17 की बात करते हैं dated 29 September, they have clearly said कि sales return को आपको consider नहीं करना है, you need not make any adjustment for sales return. But in my view, the practical solution of sales return could be different in all these four circumstances which I have mentioned here. क्या circumstance हो सकते हैं? Number one, in case goods are returned to the seller after the receipt of payment by him and TCS has been collected by the seller. However, the same has not been deposited by the seller to the government, as the sales return were made prior to the due date of deposit of TCS. Suppose 5th of the month को सेल एक एग्जीक्यूट हुआ 1 करोड़ का, 10th of the month को सेलर ने उनको पेमेंट दे दिया, and because of some deficiency in the goods, all the goods were returned to the party, all the amounts were also returned, so the transaction altogether got cancelled. So my personal view in this case would be, because the due date of depositing the TDS has not approached as of now, the seller may not have deposited the TCS whatever amount he has collected. So in that scenario, all the transactions have already been reversed. So in this case, TCS should not be deposited by the seller to the government. Second instance, in case goods are returned to the seller after the receipt of payment by him and TCS has been collected by the seller and the same has also been deposited by the seller to the government. So once the seller has collected the amount, seller has deposited the amount to the government, in that situation, if we go by the circular, circular says that you need not make any adjustment regarding sales return. Maybe the government may come for another clarification, if the complete transaction has got reversed. उस सिचुएशन में जैसे हम टीडीएस की रिटर्न रिवाइज करते हैं, वो सिचुएशन यहां भी अराइज हो सकती है. बट एज फार एज a part sale return is concerned, or maybe a credit note, issuance of credit note is concerned, circular says that this kind of adjustment should not be made, and once a TCS has been collected and paid, this kind of adjustment need not be made later on. Then the third, in case goods are returned before the receipt of payment of sale and TCS was not charged on the invoice. So this is another example. हमने goods return कर दिए, अभी हमें TCS collect ही नहीं हुआ था, हमें पेमेंट भी नहीं आई थी. तो जब हमें पेमेंट ही नहीं आई थी, हमारी लाइबिलिटी नहीं बनी थी, तो यहाँ पे there is no problem, we may not have collected the TCS component. And the fourth scenario, in case goods are returned before the receipt of payment for sale and TCS was charged on the invoice. यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन ये है कि हमने पेमेंट तो रिसीव नहीं किया था, बट हमारा जो इनवॉइस था उसमें वी हैड raised the invoice including TCS component, यानी कि हमने TCS component को include करके invoice raise किया था. However, the goods are returned. So in this scenario also another CN needs to be issued. We have not collected the TCS component. So in this example, in my view, TCS should not be deposited to the government. In this case also. Now coming to the next issue which may arise. Whether TCS applicable on advance against sale of goods. अब if we go again by the circular says yes, you need to collect TCS on the advance also, because you are collecting an amount and the receipt, which is receipt on the receipts against sale of goods. अब क्वेश्चन ये अराइज होता है कि अगर हमने कोई एडवांस रिसीव किया और हमने उसका टीसीएस डिपॉजिट कर दिया, लेकिन अगर वो हमारा एडवांस रिटर्न हो जाता है, उसका कोई क्लैरिफिकेशन नहीं दिया गया है, उस सिचुएशन में देयर वुड बी अ प्रॉब्लम. सो एंड सेकंड व्यू पॉइंट कैन कम दैट whatever advance we are collecting, we have not executed any sale, because if we go by the provision that says that every person being a seller who receives any amount as consideration for sale of any goods. So as on date of advance, we have not made any sale of goods. We have only collected an advance. So one view can be adopted that we have not made any sales. We have taken only an advance, so we are not depositing that amount. But this answer could vary. Once they have provided a circular, I think a cautious approach while looking into the TDS and TCS provisions and consequences of that, one should adopt a cautious approach and should collect TCS on that amount also. This is my advice. Now next question, implication of TCS if turnover discount given by the seller. Now this question has also been taken up in the circular itself, कि as you are collecting the TCS on the receipt only, and once the receipt is after the discount, so this question should not arise, no adjustment should be made on the discount. So this has also been clarified in para 4.6.1 of circular dated 29 September. Next issue, whether TCS under section 206C1H is applicable on the transfer of goods from one branch to another. Now, some people may say that in GST, we are transferring the goods from one branch to another, and in the GST, a goods transfer from one branch to another is a supply as per GST. Although it may be a supply as per GST, but it is not a sale as per Income Tax Act, because to complete a sale, there has to be two parties, two different identities must be there. There must be a different seller and different buyer. In a case of branch transfer, the assessee is having the same PAN, it's the same identity between whom the transaction is taking place. Therefore, there will not be any collection of TCS in case of branch transfer. Next issue, if the buyer has multiple units, whether sales made to different units needs to be aggregated for the purposes of 206C1H. Now, Question: buyer and seller, both, any of these companies may have different units, different branches all over India. So as far as seller is concerned, turnover limit of that particular seller would be counted under one PAN only. That means if the seller is having a turnover of more than 10 crores under one PAN, he will come into the net of this section. And again, if he is transacting between a buyer, suppose the seller is in Delhi and he has also a branch in Mumbai, and from both the branches he has made a sale to a particular buyer of, suppose, and collected an amount of 40 lakhs each from both these branches. In this scenario, that particular seller has collected 80 lakh rupees, although two different branches are involved, but the PAN of the seller is same. In that situation, he should collect TCS from the buyer in both the transaction. Next issue: can a buyer apply for the certificate of lower deduction of TCS? अगर हमने we all professionals sometimes apply for the lower deduction of TCS with the TDS officer in case of TDS provisions. As far as this section is concerned, if we go through this 206C subclause 9, there is no provision to apply before the assessing officer for the lower deduction of TCS under section 206C1H. इस पर्टिकुलर सेक्शन के लिए हमारे को उन्होंने परमिट नहीं किया है. 206C सब क्लॉज 1 जहां पे बात करते हैं सेल ऑफ फॉरेस्ट प्रोड्यूस, सेल ऑफ टिम्बर, सेल ऑफ तेंदू लीव्स एंड ऑल, उस सेक्शन के लिए प्रोविजन है बट इसमें नहीं है, so we cannot apply. Now another issue which may arise, whether TCS under section 206C1H is applicable on sale of software. So this is a debate which is going on for several years. Now the issue has been settled. If the software sale is treated as goods, if the software is a canned software, off the shelf software, then we treat that software as goods. And once we treat it as a goods, obviously we need to collect TCS. If we are not treating that software as goods, we are treating it as a royalty, then we will come under section 194J. As per 194J, a person deducts TDS at the rate of 10% or 2%, whatever the case may be. Once we are falling under TDS provisions, buyer is deducting TDS, then we are not coming into the net of 206C1H. If we are selling the software as goods, TDS has not been deducted, then obviously that sale of software will come under this net. So this is another issue which may arise. Now, these were the different issues, different confusions. Now, there are some more important points which one needs to remember while making compliance of TCS provisions. I'll rush through these and then we can discuss if anything is left out. Seller would be required to obtain a TAN. If a person has already a TAN, then another TAN need not be there. ये clear है. अगर उसके पास already TAN है, उसे एक separate TAN नहीं लेना. अगर उसके पास TAN नहीं है, तो उसे TAN apply कर ही एक compliance कर पाएगा. Once TDS has been collected, it has to be deposited within 7 days of the next month. आज अगर हमने TCS अक्टूबर मंथ में collect किया, तो that needs to be paid on or before 7th of November 2020. अगर TCS हमने जो कलेक्ट किया उसका पैन आधार नहीं है तो हायर रेट पे कटेगा 1%. Now if a collector fails to collect or collect and fails to pay, तो interest at the rate of 1% would be charged. अगर उसका कोई default है, then the rate of interest which needs to be paid to the government is 1%. And if there is a delay in filing the TCS statement which needs to be filed in form 27 EQ. जैसे अगर हम TDS की बात करते हैं, TDS के अंदर हमारी TDS स्टेटमेंट फाइल होती है नॉन सैलरी के केस में 26 क्यू में और सैलरी के केस में 24 क्यू में. इस सिचुएशन में टीसीएस के केस में हमारी टीसीएस स्टेटमेंट फाइल होती है 27 EQ के फॉर्म में, and which needs to be filed within 15 days of the end of the quarter. And as far as the fourth quarter is concerned, 15th of May is the due date for filing the TCS return. And in this case also, if the TCS return is delayed, a fee of rupees 200 per day is levied under section 234E. Then Act has also prescribed a penalty under section 271H if there is a default by the assessee while collecting the amount or furnishing any incorrect information in the TCS statement, a penalty which may be a minimum of 10,000 and maximum of 1 lakh can be applicable on the assessee under section 271H. Now, the most rigorous and most dangerous provision which the Act prescribes is section 276BB, which says if a person has collected the amount but not paid, if the person has collected the amount of TCS but not paid to the government, then prosecution may also be launched on the seller, on the collector. However, the procedure for identification and processing of cases for prosecution has been laid down via Circular 24 of 2019 dated 9 September 2019, in which detailed guidelines have been provided that how the officer will approach and in which circumstances prosecution needs to be launched and under which circumstances prosecution cannot be launched. So that is the circular which needs to be looked into. So these, as far as the due dates are concerned of furnishing, this is the chart of the due date, that after every quarter 15 days are given to file the TCS statement, and within 15 days of that TCS statement, due date of TCS statement, we need to issue, seller needs to issue a TCS certificate which is in the form of Form 27D, and the due date of that TCS statement and TCS certificate is given in this chart. So these were all the issues which arise in my mind. We can discuss some more issues if there are any. Ashok sir, Rakesh sir.
Puneet ji, I will request our secretary Nitika Khanna ji to take the question answer, please.
Hello.
Rakesh
जी.
ji.
Hello.
Hello sir.
जी बताइए.
जी जी. I think that deliberation was very good, and they saved time in simple language, and I think that understandable also. So if there is question answer, then I think that our secretary ma'am will take up the same, so that the Puneet ji could answer those questions. Puneet ji,
Sir,
shall we have the question answer session?
I think there are few questions which
yes.
I can take it up if ma'am. I think questions are written in this chat box.
Yes.
I think those questions.
कुछ क्वेश्चन आंसर में है, कुछ चैट में है.
आप मैम एक बार. हाँ.
ऐसा है.
वन बाय वन हम ले लेते हैं.
मैडम 1 by 1 ले लेंगे. आप प्लीज तो उनका आंसर कर दें. तो
हाँ जी.
ऐसे चला.
जी कर रहे हैं.
इसको मिनिमाइज कर लेना शेयर स्क्रीन को.
May I start? Thank you. CA Rahul ji का क्वेश्चन है whether TCS to charge on invoice, whether TCS on receipt to be calculated on reverse calculation basis by assuming it inclusive of TCS.
Yes. Now, as far as I think इस क्वेश्चन को मैंने डिस्कस किया था डिटेल में. मैं एक बार फिर से कर लेता हूं कि अगर हम सेक्शन 206C1H के बारे को ध्यान से पढ़ते हैं तो हमारी जो लायबिलिटी है टीसीएस को कलेक्ट करने की, वो हमारी लायबिलिटी कलेक्शन के टाइम पे, रिसीट के टाइम पर आती है. हमें रिसीट के टाइम पे कलेक्ट करना है. बट फॉर प्रैक्टिकल पर्पसेस मेनी कंपनीज, मेनी एसएससीज आर अडॉप्टिंग अ मेथड of charging the same on the invoice. So if a company wants to charge it on the invoice, then they may charge it. And second option could be to raise a separate debit note, maybe at the time of sale or at the time of receipt of the amount which he has received against that particular goods. As far as the second part of the question is concerned, क्या हम amount को inclusive of TCS adopt करें, उस पे भी मैंने एक एग्जांपल के साथ डिस्कस किया था कि in a situation where I have not received any amount apart from the sales consideration, जहां पे मैंने बायर से डेबिट नोट रेज कर या इनवॉइस में रेज करके उससे कलेक्शन की बात करी थी, मैंने उसे बोला था कि 0.1% का मुझे टीसीएस आपसे कलेक्ट करना है, बट स्टिल बायर हैज नॉट गिवन मी दैट अमाउंट. इन दैट सिचुएशन माय सजेशन वुड बी दैट व्हाटएवर अमाउंट आई हैव कलेक्टेड, द टोटल अमाउंट ऑफ 100 rupees, either I should pay 0.1% on that particular 100 rupees, or at least I should pay an amount, whatever it comes, inclusive of that amount. One of the amount should be paid to the, because the rate of tax is so minimal, so a person should take a cautious approach and pay to the government kitty. Yes.
Second question is from Rajendra Gupta. If due against the sale of prior to March 20 and received a sum of rupees 60 lakh after 1st October,
Yes.
in this case, TCS is applicable or not?
Yeah, वो भी हमने डिस्कस किया था. And TCS is applicable on the receipts on or after 1st October. तो जो भी हमारी receipts हैं 30th September को, जो हमारी outstanding liability है goods के against, not on services, तो उस अमाउंट पे जो भी हमें बाद में रिसीव होगा, या तो हम उस रिसिप्ट के टाइम पर एक डेबिट नोट बनाकर उसको दें टीसीएस का कि दिस इज द अमाउंट ऑफ टीसीएस व्हिच वी नीड टू कलेक्ट फ्रॉम यू एंड वी वुड बी पेइंग टू द गवर्नमेंट व्हिच विल बी टेकन एज अ क्रेडिट इन योर 26 AS बाय यू. और सेकंड ऑप्शन कुड बी कि हम एक लिस्ट बनाएं 1st अक्टूबर को मेरी जितनी भी गुड्स के अगेंस्ट आउटस्टैंडिंग है, उस आउटस्टैंडिंग अमाउंट पर मैं डेबिट नोट 1st अक्टूबर को ही रेज कर दूं एंड टू प्रोवाइड and give a letter to all the buyers that this is the outstanding that you need to give along with this TCS amount.
पुनीत, थोड़ा सा इसमें देखेंगे कि 1st अप्रैल 20 से हमें कंसीडर करना है या 1st अप्रैल 20 से पहले भी आउटस्टैंडिंग को कंसीडर करना है. He is saying March 20. It means 1920 last year.
Right.
तो फिर हमें 1st अप्रैल 20 के ड्यूज 30th को देखने हैं, 30th सितंबर को, या पिछले साल के भी ड्यूज देखने हैं?
देखिए मैम, अगर हम सेक्शन को पढ़ते हैं ना, एवरी पर्सन बीइंग अ सेलर हु रिसीव्स एनी अमाउंट एज कंसिडरेशन फॉर सेल ऑफ एनी गुड्स, तो हमारी रिसिप्ट जो है वो 1st अक्टूबर ऑनवर्ड्स आ गई.
इट इज ए मटेरियल.
तो आज
कि वो कितने पीरियड
पुराना है, अगर अब हम रिसीव करेंगे तो हमें देना पड़ेगा.
इट मींस इट मे बी 17, 18, 18, 19. कई लोगों की वो है.
पुनीत जी, इसके अंदर मुझे लगता है 10 लाख रुपीस पे टीसीएस कटेगा.
हाँ,
किस पे? मेरे को अमाउंट्स नहीं, मैंने आई थिंक आई वाज जस्ट
60 लाख में से 50 लाख का तो वो
अगर 50 लाख का एग्जम्पशन मुझे तब मिलेगा अगर 1st अप्रैल 20 से लेकर 30th सितंबर 20 तक मुझे कोई अमाउंट उस पार्टी से रिसीव नहीं हुआ है. देन हाँ, राइट.
Next question is from Ratan Goyal, advocate. In case of consignment sale, who will collect TCS, consigner or consignee?
Whosoever is making the sales in his books of account, that person would be collecting it.
The next question is from Pratik. Sir, if turnover previous year is 9 crore and in current year we cross the limit of 10 crore, we are not liable for collect the TCS, but clients wants to collect it. Can we do it? What is your suggestion?
Yes, if you want to collect it and your buyer does, because as far as your turnover is concerned, your buyer does not know your turnover. If you want to make any compliance regarding TCS, even though your turnover was less than 10 crore in last year, and still you want to collect it, so there is no problem in collecting and depositing to the government.
Next, Rakesh Gupta ji, sale to a single party rupees 1 crore, purchase from the same party rupees 60 lakh, balance payment received 40 lakh, TCS amount.
Yes. In this case, although there may be two views on this, but once they have, the TCS is applicable on the receipt of the amount, receipt of the sale consideration. Now it is to be seen whether the adjustment between the sale and purchase of 60 lakhs, which the cross sale and purchase has been made between the two parties, क्या वो हमारी रिसीट ट्रीट की जाएगी या नहीं की जाएगी. दोनों ही सिनेरियो में अलग अलग प्रोफेशनल्स के अलग अलग व्यूज हो सकते हैं. देयर मे बी द व्यूज कि आप नेट अमाउंट पे करेंगे, कलेक्ट करेंगे 40 lakhs पे. ऑब्वियसली अगर इसी एग्जांपल को अगर मैं फर्दर डिस्कस करूं, देयर आर टू पार्टीज ए एंड बी. ए की टर्नओवर भी 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा है एंड बी की टर्नओवर भी 10 करोड़ से ज्यादा है. दोनों के ऊपर अपनी अपनी सेल करने से एप्लीकेबल हो रहा है टीसीएस. दोनों ने अमाउंट सपोज मोर देन 50 lakhs कलेक्ट किया है, एज फार एज इवन दो इट इज अ बुक एंट्री. नाउ let us see what amount needs to be collected on a receipt of suppose 60 lakhs. Let us assume on a receipt of 60 lakh, an amount of 6,000, only rupees 6,000 needs to be collected. So one approach could be that I will adjust it on the balance 40 lakhs, I will collect it. And once I will collect on the balance 40 lakhs, the amount comes down to 4,000. One approach is I should collect on the complete 1 crore. That in that scenario, the amount would be 10,000 rupees. But what will be the impact? The question is that if the department comes out later on at the time of scrutiny or any at the time of scrutiny of your books, and department's view is that this amount should have been collected, so that will create a problem. So in my view, a cautious approach can be adopted and complete 10,000 should be collected and paid.
मैं इसमें अपना एक व्यू देना चाहती हूँ.
हाँ जी.
इसमें जो मेरे व्यू से दो इंडिपेंडेंट ट्रांजैक्शंस को मानकर चलना चाहिए.
हाँ.
कि 1 करोड़ की मेरी सेल अमाउंट जो है, उसी की मेरे पेमेंट जो है, आई एम टू अज्यूम कि इट इज माय रिसिप्ट. इवन 60 लाख को भी क्लब करके, तो 40 लाख की बजाय करने के दो इंडिपेंडेंट ट्रांजैक्शंस को लेकर चले. 1 करोड़ को अलग से, 60 लाख को अलग से. वो अपने पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखेगा कि मेरी उसके ऊपर लायबिलिटी टीसीएस की क्या बनती है, और मुझे अपने 1 करोड़ के ऊपर देखनी चाहिए कि मेरी टीसीएस की लायबिलिटी क्या बनती है. To my mind, it's my view.
Right.
Instead of adjusting the amount,
Yeah,
because
this
in
is
later
what,
stage, we may face problem. क्योंकि डिपार्टमेंट का व्यू ये नहीं होगा. डिपार्टमेंट का व्यू यही होगा कि वो इंडिपेंडेंट ट्रांजैक्शन है, दैट इज इंडिपेंडेंट ट्रांजैक्शन, एंड बोथ आर टू बी कैलकुलेटेड सेपरेट.
The same
in the seller's prospect.
Yeah. This is a view that I have also adopted.
Yeah. Shivam Gambhir, if a seller sold goods timber and plywood, TCS applicable on timber to Mr. A 90 lakh and received rupees 70 lakh, out of which rupees 40 lakh in respect sale of timber and rupees 30 lakhs pertain to plywood sale, then TCS applicable on 70 lakhs receipt?
No, as we have already discussed, as far as the sale of timber is concerned, sale of timber is subject to TCS under section 206 subclause 1.
Yeah.
So as far as timber sales transactions are concerned, that are already applicable to TCS under a specific provision. So this provision will not come into picture. So if we are making any transaction to the same party which is not covered under 206C1, then for that particular transaction we should apply this section.
Yeah. The next question is again from Mr. Prateek. If we calculate the limit of rupees 50 lakh per seller, turnover relating to services would also included in limit of 50 lakh or only goods?
No, it is clarified. If we go by the section, as far as the limit of 50 lakhs is concerned, amount of 50 lakhs pertaining to the sale of goods. It is clearly mentioned in the section. As far as for purpose of calculating the turnover of 10 crores, I am just extending this question. अगर हम 10 crores की टर्नओवर की बात करते हैं, जहां पे हमें टर्नओवर को डिसाइड करना है सेलर के केस में कि क्या सेलर कवर होगा इस सेक्शन पे या नहीं होगा, वहां पे टर्नओवर ऑफ सर्विसेज एंड सेल्स of goods both needs to be considered for the purpose of calculating that turnover of 10 crores. Calculate hoga, but while calculating the receipts of 50 lakhs, the amount of 50 lakhs on goods needs to be received. That exclusion has to be made, and then on the balance amount we need to collect it.
Next two questions are from SK Kataria ji. My turnover was 12 crore in financial year 1920. And my turnover in 3 crore till 30th September, and sale exceed 15 lakh to only one party. Am I liable to deduct TCS or not?
Yes, you are liable on that particular party to whom you make a sales of more than 50 lakhs because your turnover was more than 10 crores in last financial year.
Ramesh ji ka hai, sir, kindly tell me if my turnover 5 crore 1920, but financial year 2021 I have a transaction 60 lakh of one buyer and my turnover crossed 3 crore, so that I will apply TCS registration or not from Ramesh Sharma.
There is no need because your turnover in the last year was less than 10 crores, so you need not apply for the TCS registration.
The next question is from Karan Minocha. I think he is Sunil Minocha. At the time of raising invoice of 60 lakhs as a service consideration in September 20 and consideration received consideration received in October 20, but after the lapse of time limitation, the GST authority discovers and interprets as sale of goods instead of service. How to treat this transaction, particularly when the due date to deposit TCS 0.075% on 10 lakhs has lapsed?
Once the assessee has admitted that yes, maybe later on, but he has admitted yes that the liability on rupees 10 lakhs was there, 10 lakh पर उसकी liability थी TCS को collect करने की, then the amount which needs to be deposited to the government was only 1,000 rupees. So once the amount to be deposited to the government was 1,000, so the maximum amount to be paid, even if the return of that particular quarter is filed late, so the maximum penalty which would be given to the government while filing the late TCS return is only rupees 1,000. So considering this example, the amount which needs to be paid by that particular assessee would be 1,000 rupees as TCS, number 2, 1,000 rupees as a late fee or penalty, and interest at the rate of 1%. So a very small amount needs to be given to the government, and all the compliances can be done later on also.
आपने second question का भी उनका reply कर दिया है. Now I am coming to the chat box. चैट में संजय शर्मा जी ने तो दिया है. ओके, ऑल एक मिनट देख लेते हैं. इन TCS रिटर्न विल TCS, अच्छा है, इन TCS रिटर्न विल TCS बी रिपोर्टेड पार्टी वाइज, आइदर क्यूमुलेटिव बेसिस और एंट्री वाइज?
I think we need to look into TCS return. I think जो भी हमारी TCS की रिटर्न, अगर हम TDS की रिटर्न देखते हैं, TDS की रिटर्न में एंट्री वाइज जाता है, तो आई बिलीव कि TCS की रिटर्न भी एंट्री वाइज ही होगी.
अच्छा, ये क्वेश्चन आप रिप्लाई कर चुके हुए हैं. आफ्टर क्रॉसिंग थ्रेशोल्ड ऑफ 50 लाख, इफ आई रिसीव 10 lakh, on which amount I will collect TCS, on 60 lakh or 10 lakh? I think you have already replied. The next is pilgrimage tour is part of tour package?
Sorry, मैं क्वेश्चन नहीं समझा मैम.
ये टूर पैकेज के अंदर कोई पिलग्रिमेज जा रहे हैं तो उसको भी वो टूर पैकेज का पार्ट है, तो क्या वो उसके ऊपर भी टीसीएस एप्लीकेबल होगा?
देखिए, इंडिया के अंदर अगर आप किसी भी टूर पैकेज को लेते हैं तो वो सर्विसेज में कंसीडर किया जाता है, एंड सर्विसेज में ये सेक्शन अप्लाई नहीं होता है, तो नहीं लगेगा।
अच्छा, आपने ये सारे हो गए हैं। आई थिंक वी हैव कवर्ड ऑल। अच्छा, ये है एक, देयर इज ए कंसेप्ट ऑफ कंपोजिट सप्लाई. At times it is tax deeming as supply of goods and at some time as supply of service. Though in both cases it includes supply of goods as well as service. What is the course available to supplier in TCS?
इसमें भी हमने एक एग्जांपल के साथ डिस्कस किया था मैम, while discussing
Works
this
contract
point,
का।
वर्क्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के एग्जांपल के साथ डिस्कस किया था कि इफ दैट पर्टिकुलर ट्रांजैक्शन इज कवर्ड अंडर TDS under section 194C and the buyer has also deducted TDS under section 194C, whatever the due rate was. So once that is TDS has been deducted by the buyer, because if we go by the intent of this section, इस सेक्शन को लाने का इंटेंट एक ही है गवर्नमेंट का, बिकॉज उनका इंटेंट ये है कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा ट्रांजैक्शंस को वो आइडेंटिफाई कर सकें जिस ट्रांजैक्शन पे ऑलरेडी टीडीएस डिडक्ट हो रहा है. देयर इंटेंट इज नॉट टू गेट द टीसीएस आल्सो कलेक्टेड ऑन दोज पर्टिकुलर ट्रांजैक्शंस. तभी उन्होंने ऑलरेडी जो टीसीएस में और टीडीएस में ट्रांजैक्शंस कवर्ड हैं उनको एक्सक्लूड कर दिया, एंड जो बाकी ट्रांजैक्शन बची हाई वैल्यू ट्रांजैक्शंस जिसमें सेलर जो मोर देन 10 करोड़ टर्नओवर वाले हैं प्लस टू अ पर्टिकुलर बायर जो 50 लाख वाले हैं. मुझे ऐसा लगता है पर्सनली स्टार्टिंग में अभी, बिकॉज दिस इज अ न्यू प्रोविजन, स्टार्टिंग में इन्होंने 10 करोड़ की लिमिट को स्टार्ट किया और उधर से 50 लाख को स्टार्ट किया. गोइंग फॉरवर्ड इन कमिंग ईयर्स दैट 10 करोड़ लिमिट विल बी स्टार्ट रिड्यूसिंग एंड दे विल कम टू एन अमाउंट which is specified in section 44AB. वो उसको 44AB के साथ लिंक कर देंगे. तो जो टर्नओवर हमारी 44AB में स्पेसिफाइड है, as of now it is 1 crore, maybe 2 crore in some circumstances and 5 crore in some circumstances, उसके साथ वो धीरे धीरे रिड्यूस करके उसे इक्वल ले आएंगे. and the limit of 50 lakhs may also be reduced in coming years. So ultimately their aim is to get the transactions identified and come in the 26 AS net. This is their intent, not to collect more and more revenue, rather their intent is to get all these transactions identified.
एक लास्ट क्वेश्चन आप ले रहे हैं. इफ द डेटर्स आर कन्वर्टेड टू लोन्स एंड एडवांसेस इन December 2020, whether TCS applicable? पुनीत जी.
ये मैम क्वेश्चन ऐसा है कि I think it will all depends on facts. So this can be discussed on a different platform, because answer to this question may change on facts to facts basis.
Now to my mind, questions are over. If we forget to collect TCS, of course.
I think we have already discussed कि
Yes.
अगर हमने कलेक्ट नहीं किया तो माय सजेशन वुड बी कि जितना भी अमाउंट हमने कलेक्ट किया है उसके ऊपर हमें 0.075% ही देना है, रादर देन लेटर ऑन सेइंग दैट हमने तो कलेक्ट ही नहीं किया इसलिए हमने पे नहीं किया. वी शुड एटलीस्ट पे एंड follow up with the buyer that this amount you should pay to us because we have already deposited in your account and it has been.
Thank you. Now questions are over. Over to Rakesh ji. Rakesh ji.
मुझे अपने एक जो शेयर इसको मिनिमाइज कर लेना है.
पुनीत जी.
पुनीत जी. पुनीत जी.
पुनीत जी स्क्रीन मिनिमाइज कर लो प्लीज.
हेलो
जी.
पुनीत जी
कोई
अपने
बात
शेयर
नहीं, अभी वो शायद है नहीं, अवेलेबल नहीं है, बैठे नहीं होंगे सीट पे.
सीट पे तो है. चलो खैर कोई नहीं, ठीक है.
वीडियो रुकी होगी शायद.
मैं भी आपसे समझना चाहता हूँ थोड़ी सी. मेरी आवाज सुन रहे हैं?
पुनीत जी नहीं
हाँ,
है.
रखे.
I think some connection problem is there.
Okay. ये भी अच्छा कि बिल्कुल लास्ट में हुआ।
कर रहा हूँ।
कोई बात नहीं, हो गया है।
हो गया ना?
हाँ हो गया।
थैंक यू वेरी मच पुनीत जी
एंट्री के लिए
फॉर ए सच वंडरफुल एंड नाइस डेलिब्रेशन। आज
राकेश,
बहुत हमें सीखने को मिला और जितने हमारे ऑनरेबल मेंबर्स हैं उन सबको भी बहुत सीखने को मिला होगा, ऐसे मुझे पूर्ण उम्मीद ही नहीं, पूर्ण विश्वास है। तो अब ज्यादा समय ना लेते हुए मैं नीतिका मैम को इनवाइट करता हूं कि वो फॉर्मल वोट ऑफ थैंक्स करके आज की सभा को समाप्ति की तरफ लेके जाए, समापन की तरफ लेके जाए। ओवर टू नीतिका।
थैंक यू राकेश जी।
एक मिनट नीतिका जी, एक मिनट मैं पुनीत जी से थोड़ा सा मेरे को भी डाउट था, क्लियर करना चाहता था मैं। पुनीत जी मेरे को नजर नहीं आ रहे हैं स्क्रीन पे।
पुनीत
स्क्रीन पे है?
शायद एग्जिट हो गए हैं।
चले गए शायद सर।
अच्छा
चलो आप फोन करके पूछ लीजिएगा। ऐसा हो नहीं सकता।
जी,
फोन करो।
स्पीकर ऑफ कर लो।
जी जी।
Speaker of the day, Mr. Punit Rai, Advocate, President Shri Ashok Sharma ji, Vice President Shri Rakesh Kumar Agarwal ji, Joint Secretary Shri Manish Mittal ji, respected seniors and friends. I have been asked to propose vote of thanks to the Speaker of the day. Today's learned Speaker Shri Punit Rai, Advocate, is like my son. Keeping these sentiments in mind, I would like to say or call it as vote of blessings. May God bless him. I pray to Almighty to bless him with such clarity and analytic approach with which he has explained today's subject lucidly in all fields. I am sure and confident that each one of us must have understood the subject fully. He has mastered the subject with an analytic mind and approach, explaining a new subject with such ease and clarity was marvelous. He has enlightened each one of us on the topic TCS on sellers, introduced right section 206 capital C 1H of the Income Tax Act. I would be failing in my duty if I do not congratulate his father and our elder brother, Shri Ashok Rai ji. His son is as hardworking as he himself is. Fathers feel happy and proud if their sons excel in the field which he chose. I see that his son is going to excel in all facts of professional life. I once again bless dear Puneet for today's deliberation. We're done. Thank you all for joining this webinar in such large number. Friends, though I am confident that we have understood the subject fully, but I have collected clarification and press release issued by government as well as article and frequently asked question uploaded by experts on the public domain. I am circulating all these for your ready reference right now. I hope you find the collection handy and very useful to you. Thank you once again to all of you for your
सबको
Thank you.
नमस्कार। थैंक यू वेरी मच
Thank you, sir.
एवरीवन।
नमस्कार जी, नमस्कार। थैंक यू।